virtual people? Welcome to the 115th episode of VCR Redux. We take your favorite franchises out of the analog era and bring them back to 2023. I'm your host, pop culture punk Chris Stiles, joined as always by my co-host with the most, film professor Ian Klink.
How you doing, everybody?
And we have two radical guests on the show tonight. First up, our own honorary third host from Rick Barth in the line. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. Mickey Torres is back on the show.
What's up, everyone?
Hey!
And rounding out this righteous crew from New Jersey bands Honey Red and Crash Romeo, the latter of which's music video Your Name Here is available on YouTube now. Steve Anderson is back on the show.
Hi. Thank you. It's good to be back.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, it feels good. Feels good to be here.
Thank you
Dave
so much.
Steve Dave.
Mr. Steve Dave Anderson, folks. We are here today to tell the ugliest motherfucker to stay frosty because this world needs Alien vs. Predator 3, Eat, Pray, Love, and we're here to give it to you. But before Ian calls me a son of a bitch, we got a dish on how AVP came into our lives and what we love about it. And of course, that goes for everyone watching the live chat as well. Was it Love at First Laserdisc, Vital VHS? Hit us up in the chat and let us know how AVP came into your lives.
Was this a Laserdisc?
It was probably not on Laserdisc, but hey, maybe in other regions, in other regions where Laserdisc prevailed longer, it might have been on Laserdisc.
2004, 2004. What was it?
Okay, so it probably was not on Laserdisc.
What in Kretschneville? Like
maybe, but you know what? Someone may have discovered the Predator or Alien franchises on Laserdisc, and that led them down this road. So before
Laserdisc in Kretschneville.
I invested all my money in Laserdisc, and I can't believe it didn't.
You flip sides in movie again.
There's a movie on there. So, Steve, do you remember the first time you got AVP'd?
I mean, I saw this in theaters, 100%. I was excited for it too.
That actually sounds like something you go to a doctor for.
I saw it in theaters.
I saw AVP.
I'm sorry, Mickey, but you've contracted AVP.
It so does.
Like, what is wrong with you?
It sounds like one of those things.
Green stuff comes out of you.
You can't tell me that this
it's acidic.
That sounds like honestly, that sounds like one of the fake diseases that Sandra Bullock lists in Demolition Man. Like after HIV, there was NIT. After NIT, there was BVS. After BVS, there was AVP.
Oh, gross.
I mean, it seemed like a good idea at the time, you know.
Oh my god, how did we not see this in theaters together? I think I missed it. I don't know. I remember seeing this.
I can tell you because it was Aliens versus Predator, and everybody should have missed it in theaters.
No, fuck you, because you know what? We'd all been talking about this since we were fucking 9 years old. Like, what if an alien fought a predator?
Yes,
and you would pick hard sides. They were like alien kids and they were predator kids.
This cool thing we were talking about, not this wet fart.
No. Yes, the pure artistry is in the action figures, of course. There's no commercial trickery of play there.
Yeah, granted the execution was not flawless by any means, but that's it. That's all I got. I saw it in theaters, and I did not see the second one in theaters. I saw the second one by accident, thinking I was rewatching the first one again to see if I remembered liking it. And
exactly
I was like,
why
this
they
movie,
do the titles like they do. Why it's AVP Requiem, not AVP 2.
Yeah, I wonder why they made that decision.
Because they want exactly what Steve just said to happen.
They wanted idiots like me to just watch it, thinking it was the first. They didn't have to watch the first one to watch that one.
You're just like, boy, this must be a different cut of the movie entirely.
I'm wondering if they thought that by doing that they were kind of rebooting. Like people would be like, No,
because it's a direct sequel. I mean, it follows the Predalien that's born, which I hate the term that I hate, Predalien. But it follows the Predalien that's born at the end of AVP 1 and its journey to Earth.
So you sing this movie's praises.
Surface, whatever. I don't sing its praises. I don't know who you're talking to.
Yeah, I'm not
talking. I don't know who you talking to, sir.
I'm just saying. Just saying.
I'm not saying that I'm not giving this 2 thumbs up either, by the way.
It's
we'll get 2 thumbs down.
No,
I'm not giving it 2 thumbs up. But I'm not giving it 2 thumbs down.
Well, I'll get to the report cards in a second, but I feel like I was cutting Mickey
I'm
off
not gonna not go on the
mid-spiel
date.
there.
I'm not saying that
No.
I am going on the date.
No, I think I saw this one like years later. Like I don't think I rented it. I don't know how I saw this. It probably was on cable or something like that. Because I was not like, truth be told, like I'm not a huge Aliens fan. I love Predators. So
you're a Predator man.
I'm a Predator fan. So I love
Wow.
Predator. So I was disappointed by no Arnold Schwarzenegger. I thought like for sure, like there should have been some Arnold in this.
I mean, yeah, I thought
if
for
you were
sure
gonna do this,
the sitting governor of California would be like, sure, I'll do your crossover film. Terminator 3 was fun.
I was hoping, like, I mean, like
California was in crisis, man. Like they couldn't
the dream of AVP. I mean, like, but I mean, like, that was never a thing for me. Like I didn't like I didn't really think to myself, like, you know what I really need? I really need an Alien vs Predator movie. That was not in my thought.
You did.
I always wanted it.
You were on the crap. You were on the crapper one night, and you were thinking
the 10-year-old in me. Like I loved, Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, and the fact that Dracula was in it too, and the way the old Universal movies did it. And I was like, why can't they do this now?
Those are classics, and those are good. They tried to do it, modern day with the Mummy, and you see how that went.
Oh, the Dark Universe, yeah.
Yeah, they were trying to bring it back.
The Bane
I had
of
so much.
Steve's,
I had such high hopes. I had wanted that
same
so
here.
badly to be
I wanted it too. Especially because you heard like Johnny Depp was supposed to be, I guess, the Invisible Man or something like that, or I don't know, whatever like that. And there was like big stars attached to this, and then Tom Cruise just did his thing.
Every time they announced anything in that universe, I knew. I was just like, sure, Jan, we'll see about that. Like, yeah, Johnny Depp's gonna be Frankenstein's Invisible Man guy. Like, yeah, sure, Jan.
But like, so going back to this movie, like I saw this, like, just like I figured, like, I think I was going down the rabbit hole of Aliens, because I was up to date obviously on the Predators, but I'm like, you know what? I think it was before Prometheus came out.
Yes.
Alien vs. I was way before Prometheus.
Yeah. Well, he's saying him when he
when I watched it,
viewing of it.
Was like basically like Prometheus was coming. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go see this.
I'm gonna
go see this bullshit.
Okay. So now I got really hyped up for Prometheus. I'm not gonna lie, and that felt like a big slap in the face. Yeah, I thought like one of the great franchises was gonna be back. And turns out,
let me ask you this,
because it was Ridley Scott again, right?
But
yeah, you thought, okay, well, look at Ridley Scott. This is going to be awesome.
I have a theory, though.
Okay.
All right, and I think Prometheus is a great movie. I think everybody enjoys Prometheus until
that sound.
No, that the last 3 minutes. When it's not the alien, but it's this weird thing, alien-like,
human.
It looks like alien. That tapioca pudding resurrection alien.
Yeah. And everybody's like, I'm telling you, that was what bummed everybody out. If it had actually just
that's not the only thing. That's not the only thing.
I thought it was.
You make us wait all movie. You make us wait a whole movie to show us a lame variant on a creature that we've already seen. And
well,
even if you made us wait the whole movie and it was
that thing,
that wouldn't have saved it.
Thing,
yeah,
I think it would have been.
I thought Prometheus was good. I don't know about the second. This was the second one of those. Was Prometheus and then
Covenant.
Yeah,
and that got a little wonky for me with the script in that is just I don't know.
I don't know. I think Prometheus was pretty bad.
Yeah.
My biggest problem.
I'd have to watch it again.
My biggest problem with Covenant is that Neil Blomkamp was going to do Alien 5, like a real Alien, or Alien 3 Ducks or whatever, like a follow-up to James Cameron's Aliens. And Ridley Scott got all like butthurt about it and like complained to Fox, and then they ended up squashing it. And they were going to split the Alien franchise off in two directions, which had never been done with like any franchise yet. It was like before DC was doing that, and it was before all these other things were doing that. And they were like, oh, I don't know, we probably can't do that, I guess. We'll just go with the Ridley Scott stuff because he's a big name. And it kills me because now Spider-Man has totally proved that you can absolutely do that, and to 100% success. That all their Tom Holland movies are big box office hits, and all their Spider-Verse movies are big box office hits. And you can totally
Not really. Morbius tanked.
No, I said
the only
but
one,
Spider-Man. You could split Spider-Man in two. I didn't say
yeah.
the whole Spider-Verse. Spider-Man. You got
Those
Into
animated
the
Sony
Spider-Verse.
movies
The
are
animated
killing
Sony
it,
movies
yeah.
Okay,
are a hit.
okay.
And the fucking live action Tom Holland movies are a hit. And there's one coming out basically every year. One of the two will come out. And yeah, the side ones, yeah, Morbius and
Venom was the only one. The first Venom was the only one that was successful. Second one was like not as good.
Getting back to
AVP.
Predator. Yeah, I want to know how young. I want to know how
necessary. Can we just abandon this one?
There are certain things that are necessary in life, and this is a bridge we have to cross for the sake of our VCR audience. So I want to know how young Iowa Ian got AVP'd.
Look, I'm going to tell you, shit, I hate how you word that. I'll be honest, my first exposure of Alien vs. Predator was this bad boy right behind me. I actually got this action figure set that had the Predator and the Alien in it, right? That, those two.
Sure.
And to this day, let me tell you, that was my Predator. Whenever I redid my action figures and did the Predator movies over and over again, that was the Predator I used. All right.
I'm jealous of your like extensive action figure collection. I know you're always saying you was like, oh, this guy had to pretend to be this dude.
They're watching right now, but let me tell you, Ma and Pa Klink, they scored when it came to getting me action figures. Like, we didn't have much, but they always got me some good action figures, and I love them.
Did they keep him?
I still have them in a box in the attic. Oh yeah, they can't touch those.
Nice.
Chris just found a bunch of my old action figures as well.
Oh man, look, I had
Marvel shit.
Look, I had G.I. Joe. I had the real Ghostbusters. I actually had a Waterworld action figure. I had the villain from Waterworld.
Man. Oh my god. That explains so much about you.
I had
how can you play with the thing with figures is that you could like recreate the movie. You can recreate the movie or whatever like that. How do you recreate a piece of shit like Waterworld?
Oh, it's the best toy ever. Oh, he was my
Ian's 10th birthday party was like a Waterworld themed pool party, and no one showed up.
Whenever I played Escape from New York, that action figure was my Kurt Russell because he had the long hair and everything.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So
you played Escape from New York with the action figure from Waterworld.
Dude, I played the client. John Grisham's the client with my action figures. Oh my god! All right?
You're an interesting kid.
You can do anything with action figures. All right,
Ripley.
You're sitting there with two action figures, GI Joe, saying to RoboCop, like, "You a big man, bear the blade."
Ripley was Susan Sarandon. All right, it worked. All right,
I love that.
But listen, I pretty much had all the Aliens action figures. I mean, I had Hudson, Apone, Drake, I had the Bull.
Was there Vasquez?
No, there was no Vasquez. Here's why.
She just came out now. Like,
here's why.
The new figures. She's.
This is a fun fact.
Cool.
All right.
That's weird.
If any of you ever saw these action figures, this Alien line action figure, they actually made, when Alien 3 came out, the studio was like, there's no way we can make a cartoon out of Alien 3. But we can make a Saturday morning cartoon out of aliens. And they did that. So this Alien action figure set is from a tanked they didn't go through with it. It was a pilot, but they made action figures thinking it was going to sell no matter what. And they ended up scrapping it. So if you look at those old action figures, it has Apone has like a yellow shirt and a red hat. And it says, "No, don't bug me" on his shirt and stuff like that. Well, that's what the cartoon character looked like. So that's what they had all these. They had this gorilla alien. They had the bull alien. They had all this stuff. And supposedly Predator was going to be in that cartoon show. I don't know how, but supposedly Predator was going to make an appearance or something like that. But anyway, that was my first exposure. So again, like anybody though, like I grew up watching both Predator series and Alien series. And sadly, in the early 2000s, I made my way to the Cinemaplex to watch something so awful and horrendous and made me cry.
And that day, you stop playing with your toys.
Yeah, that day I put all my toys away.
Every man grows up on a day. That's
the day I grew up and I packed away all my action figures.
That's the day I found out Santa wasn't real.
I will say this: at least I saw Alien versus Predator, because nobody can actually watch Alien versus Predator Requiem because you can't see the freaking movie because it's so dark.
We watched it the other night. It's all I can 100%. Fucking talk about the whole thing. That movie is so dark and terrible. I couldn't figure out who the fuck.
It's a horrible movie. That Requiem one, the second one.
It's not even that. You can't see it. It's not lit well. Yeah. You can't see anything.
I truly believe Requiem represents a point in time where movies like about things that I absolutely love could have like a surplus of, franchise, whatever franchise excitement built in, for lack of a better term. And it could still become something that just absolutely couldn't hold my attention. This is before we had smartphones and like your attention drifts to other devices and things.
Well, if you can't,
this couldn't hold my attention. Yeah, out of the gate, right on.
There was there was one of the survivors at the end of it, this woman or whatever, and you turned to me and we watched it and was like, it's the first time I'm seeing her in this movie. Right?
Yeah, not quite. But I don't remember anything. They don't remember them introducing her or like explaining. Yeah.
This failed. I mean, Freddy vs. Jason was great for like,
Well,
they spent, but this was the first.
Credit to New Line, because New Line bought the rights to Jason and not Friday the 13th, but Jason and the Mask in like 91 or 92 or whatever it was that Paramount, 89, somewhere between 89 and 93. And it took them, they waited like 10, 12, 13 years before they finally got a script they felt right about going forward with. They could have made Freddy vs. Jason at any time with any crappy script, but they didn't just rush it right out there. They took forever doing it. And, maybe it's a shame, because maybe we could have gotten a whole bunch of Freddy vs. Jason movies, but, that's another story.
I don't know. I don't know if we needed any more of those.
I really thought that there was some meat on the bone there.
Yeah,
definitely.
I would just be too nervous that they would lose it like they did.
The idea of bringing Ash in would have been incredible. That would have been amazing.
Yeah.
And then from there, you could do anything. You bring Hellraiser in. You could bring, it's like it could have been the Expendables of horror, and we could have had this with the characters. Like, imagine if the Expendables was like Rambo and the Terminator and RoboCop and like all this shit. Like,
that would be a little bit too much like a parody. I think if we had Expendables,
look, in the history of anything,
but like 10-year-olds would have fucking lost their minds if that happened in the day.
You got Jean-Claude as Bloodsport.
In the history of any copyright thing that has ever gone through, that has ever worked out, where you mix any characters together, only that Saturday Don't Do Drugs Barbara Bush thing is the only thing that ever people let anything ever mix together. Other than that,
talking about cartoon All-Stars to the Rescue.
That's right. Yeah.
No, I love it. We're gonna do that. We gotta do a cartoon All-Stars to the Rescue episode.
The Laugh Olympics too. Man, the Laugh Olympics was great.
Well,
the mashups of Blue Falcon. You had the Scooby-Doo gang. You had Josie and the Pussycats. It was good.
I'll get to my first time watching this masterpiece of a film.
Who do you think you are, dog?
I do. I'm just scrolling back in the chat. I just want to say hi to everyone in the chat so far. To Travis Mitchell, Owen Ellis, Angie Saunders, Monica Thyman, Mikey Riffraff, Xander Mars, Alex Bonafonte, Miyagi Do Forever. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Angie says, I saw this when I was 3. LOL, just kidding. I saw it on VHS, she says.
Ew, this movie made it to VHS. It's that old?
Really?
2004?
Wow. Yeah, maybe.
They made VHSs up until History of Violence.
History of Violence was the last VHS ever made. Yeah, that's right.
That's wild. That's
Gold's
great.
Code says every week is AVP here. Mickey versus Ian. Says he was a fan of AVP since the arcade. It does end. I will say that is a likely corner for corner on VCR Redux. He says he was a fan of AVP since the arcade beat 'em game. Says Mickey, you must know it. They probably have it at the arcade that your band plays at. But
there you go. The bowling alley.
Yeah.
Let's
I
see,
do
Xander
apologize
Mars,
to our audience. I'm trying to solve the dog issue. Give me a second here, folks.
No, take your time. Just catch up with the chat here. Xander Mars says, I convinced my dad to rent this and let me watch it when I was like 11. That's a pretty decent age to come into all this. I came in a few years younger than that, obviously, to the Aliens franchise. And Predator, I saw Predator when I was like 3 years old. Let's see. Anything else to chat? Prometheus sucks, says Gold's Code. Who also Gold's Code, he'll probably do it in the chat, but he gave me a pretty sweet rollerblade pitch. Oh, puppy.
Oh, that puppy is
Oh my
adorable,
gosh.
Ian.
You're one cutie motherfucker. Alex Bonafonte says Covenant banded too much from Prometheus. I would not I don't know if I agree. I'd have to rewatch those because I've only seen each one like once. I see Meg Klink in the chat there. Gold says
Hey, hi, Mom Mare.
Oh, it's Mama Klink. Oh, okay. I thought that was Mama Klink. Thank you so much for tuning in, Mama Klink. Gold Code says Aliens Dark Descent. The game is pretty dope. It's a real sequel he recommends. He is Sean, and he will see you at the arcade. So like I said, I discovered Predator when I was like 3. I discovered Aliens when I was like, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7. I just loved both franchises, soaked up everything as soon as it came out, although Alien 3 and Resurrection began a disappointing trend for me, which is funny because I remember
now shots are fired because I know what you guys think, but Alien 3.
Oh, come on.
But no, I don't think it's the best of the series, but Chris and I have talked about this. I will end up watching, it's been years since I watched Alien 3, but almost every year I have watched the making of Alien 3.
Oh, yeah, I agree. The making of Alien 3 is fascinating.
Oh,
the making of anything gets me.
It's a master course in like what not to do. Like every single decision they made was as wrong as it could possibly fucking
but that's exactly why they made the Alien versus like the Aliens TV series, because you couldn't do that as a cartoon. But Fox wanted to make toys. They wanted to make money, and they saw that and they're like,
Fox
was it Alien 2 or
man.
Alien 3 where they were dressing up their dogs like little aliens and letting them run around the set?
That was 3.
That was 3. Yeah. I've seen that. Yeah, it's good. It's good. I like that making of. It's great.
Because originally it was supposed to be like, what was it? Alien 3. It face hugged a dog.
Yeah.
And then it came out of the dog, but then audiences were like, no, you can't do that to a dog unless the dog is on crack.
I think they did do that. I feel like that is what
I think that is in the movie.
They did, but in the movie then they changed it, or was it a cow originally, or what? Something. It was originally a different animal, and then they switched it.
Either way, Alien 3, I feel like there's no face huggers. It's such a not fun movie.
Just the tone of that movie is.
They killed Hicks and Newt. That was their first mistake.
Yeah.
Well, that's a mistake you can't come back from, in my opinion. That's a cardinal sin right there. That's grounds for,
termination.
That's grounds for getting AVP'd on.
Well, now if I can complain about the toys, the only issue I had was Hicks' helmet never came off. They molded the toy with the helmet on.
The sick bastards.
Well, so if I wanted him to play any other character, if I wanted him to play,
if you wanted him to be in the Ghostbusters, you couldn't.
If I
wanted him to be Murtaugh in Lethal Weapon 2, I couldn't do it. He had a helmet, so he always had to be he always had to be like a, bad
You've got
guy.
Hicks standing there being like diplomatic immunity.
Listen, my figures were wrestlers. Like, the only stand-ins that they did were like, you know what, I need a Vince McMahon. All right, come here, Duke. You're gonna be Vince McMahon.
Come here, Iron Sheik. You're gonna be
paint his like hair black, whatever like that. I'm like,
you grabbed a Sharpie.
Well, let me just say, I'm glad that there wasn't like a Monday Night Raw cheesy promotion for AVP or some sort of like WWE movie with AVP where they put like. That would have been so bad. I'm just saying that. Like, remember when RoboCop was on WCW and he bent the rubber bars to get out of the jail cell?
My audience, our audiences, I'm going to promise you something. Next week, I'm going to be in Iowa. All right, I'm going to bust out my action figures. I'm going to show you all in this show. You all are going to get to see it. I'm going to tell you right now. I have a Demolition Man toy.
Damn it, Ian. We want people to tune in next week, not take off.
How dare you,
13-year-old
sir?
Ann was playing with his Demolition Man toy. Get off my plane. Just
That's right.
Yeah. Playing Air Force One with the Demolition. Yeah.
No, that was
chef's kiss. So, it's only taken me like 25 minutes to get to my discovery of this film. So I didn't see it in theaters. This? I saw this. Must have been like as soon as it hit video. I came home to visit my folks. It was like probably for Thanksgiving or something like that. And this was like a rental, or it was something that was just like sitting around, and we threw it on, or it just came out. And it first time watch in that circumstance, I was like in such a good mood to like be home and like eat Chicago food and see my family and friends, that like I quite enjoyed it. The years have gone, and every rewatch it's definitely gotten a lot less enjoyable. And I certainly had big problems with it back then, but it was like, okay, well, I forgave all this now because you gave me so much of them fighting and ass kicking. But now a lot of the action is kind of hollow. It I think of it as a movie where you just sort of like Batman v Superman, where you just like take two things and do this, it's not really that.
They're fighting action figures.
Right. Well, tonally too, you're talking about two different franchises where every movie, and normally this isn't like a big thing for me, but like every movie from the start on both sides is rated R. And then this is the first one where you're in that time period of the early aughts, as Chris says here, that everything has to be PG-13, and like we need everyone to come see this. So let's take these two movies.
Yeah, like Die Hard was PG-13.
Yeah. Like, and it's kind of ridiculous.
Movies are PG-13. Pop punk is ruling the world.
Yay!
You're taking the good with the bad.
That's funny you say that, Ian, because at the end of it, she goes, "You are one ugly mother." And then they cut her off, and they couldn't even have her drop the line. Yeah. But you're allowed one fuck, I think, in a PG-13 movie, but I don't think you're allowed. I don't think you're allowed a motherfucker though. I think that's an automatic.
Well, our show just got rated R. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. It's 26 minutes in. The censors won't find it. So yeah, but Requiem was such a slap in the face that if there was anything that you liked about AVP, Requiem left such a bad aftertaste that it like ruined the whole thing. So we're almost at pitch time. It is,
the problem is I actually like the plot of Requiem. I actually thought Requiem was a better plotted movie. It's just literally you can't see it. I mean, it literally. I almost wish Alien vs. Predator Requiem was the first one. It's just that cinematographer should be ran out of town.
Yeah.
You want an Injustice for All remix of Alien vs. Predator Requiem where the bass is in. So the Alien vs. Predator Requiem would be lightened up. So it's like
there could
go back and color correct that movie like to yellows. Like give me what I can see in that movie.
I would like to actually see that movie.
It only smears.
I don't know, man. That could have been way better than we thought it was. We just couldn't tell what the fuck was going on the entire time.
It's not. I can guarantee you it's not. No. First of all, the whole premise is wrong. Think about the Alien movies and think about the Predator movies up to that point. A big part of each one was the locations. Location. Start with Predator. You've got a hardcore, like practically uninhabitable jungle. You've got the toughest, most violent, crime-riddled city in Predator 2. So you're putting these in extreme environments. And at least in the first AVP, they put you in the extreme cold. Now we're just in the suburbs, and it's like, oh, who cares? This is like a bad Lost World.
Yeah, but you know what? That Shane Black Predator movie was in the suburbs, and that wasn't even close to being as terrible as this.
Oh, you're talking about The Predator?
Yeah,
I like that one.
That one was good. Yeah,
but but everyone it came and went, and people seem to have gravitated a lot more towards Prey. I love Shane Black.
Well, Chris thinks Predator, the Predator, Aliens vs. Predator should have been in Shibona, Illinois. That's what Chris is basically saying.
No,
I'm a Predators fan. I even like the Robert Rodriguez Predators.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I love that. That one's not bad. It was a step in the right direction. You know what I mean? 1 step forward, 2 steps back, or 2 step, 1 step, whatever.
I mean, to me, we're talking pitches or whatever like that. Like, give Robert Rodriguez a shot at it. Let him do AVP.
Oh, that would be fucking fantastic.
And so you could have.
That's what they should have done. That's what they should have done out of the gate.
Yeah, you could have, Adrian Brody in it if you want. Because, I mean, you're like the likelihood, it would be awesome if we can get some sort of cameo from Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Well, my dream, we're a little bit ahead of pitch time, but I've probably pitched this on other shows anyways. My dream Alien versus Predator movie, and it's pretty goddamn simple. It's complicated, but simple. You just take Sigourney Weaver and Arnold Schwarzenegger and you throw however much money it takes at them to get them on screen together, and you get the best of the best of the best writers.
I like that.
Do whatever you can to make it not bullshit.
And James Cameron.
I don't care what I don't care if you de-age, if you keep them old, if you
and James Cameron,
get James Cameron, get Paul Verhoeven, get John McTiernan, get whoever
somebody
you can
would
get,
have to.
But somebody is it cloned Ripley or is it
somebody would have to time travel? Is how that works. Is the only way that works.
Time travel would absolutely have to be a part of it because the first Alien movie takes place in like 22 something, or it's like way in the future. So
and the first Predator movie takes place in the 80s. No?
80s,
yes,
right?
Yeah,
it was 80s.
Assume.
Yeah, it was like it was real time. Yeah,
they never necessarily say that that's what it was.
We just think of it as the 80s because that's when it came out.
I think the alligator shirts kind of give it away there, Chris.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, just the way they're dressed alone gives it away. Yeah.
The
MTV shirt that Jesse Ventura wears.
Yeah.
That's true.
But again, is it answer this question, Chris? Is it cloned Ripley or is it real Ripley?
It's real Ripley. It's fuck the clone shit. This ain't no. Where we're going, we don't need clones. Okay, I'm just gonna say that right now.
Let me counter you though. If it's cloned Ripley, what if it's cloned Arnold?
Okay.
Oh,
well,
okay.
That's not the worst thing ever.
So it's still it's in the future, but now it's a cloned Arnold.
Because here's the thing: at the end of the Predator, you dog. At the end of the Predator, all right. I actually thought, because they said the ultimate predator killing machine, I actually thought it was going to be a cameo by Arnold. I really did. I actually thought it was going to be, but they ended up doing something real dumb. I don't even remember. Yeah. But that to me would be a good idea. It's cloned Arnold. It's cloned Ripley. The species of predator has come to Earth that they haven't dealt with before, ever, and
a species of predator or a species of alien?
Okay,
hold on. I'll be back.
She's in dog mode. Okay.
Yeah.
So I will go to the chat.
Go tend to your dog.
It's always a good time to go to the chat. So there are pitches in there. And again, I want to remind everyone watching, now is the time. Forward us your pitches. What do you and don't you want to see in an Alien versus Predator sequel? So Gold's Code's got one. Pitch: Predator comes to Ohio for one hot summer and realizes that bladers are the new prey. Now Mitchell must team up with the preps to outsmart and outhunt their foe.
Give me this crap. I got this dog running around like crazy over here, crapping everywhere. You're gonna give me an airborne pitch on this show?
Well, Gold's Code's got more, because if it skates, we can kill it. And I gotta say, the man is just genius. What can I say? Another pitch from Gold's Code. Alien meets Predator and fall in love. They hold hands skating until a downhill race between Mitchell and the preps ruins the romance and sends them into a killing frenzy. It's AVP, Born to Hunt. Oh, Born with an E. That is fantastic. Wow.
Cinema is dead.
That's where I'm gonna Photoshop all these airborne posters for Sean Gold one day. I swear it's gonna be incredible, and that's all I'm gonna do is airborne mashups going forward, guys.
Okay, all right. So going back, sorry, before the puppy interrupted, just so I can finish the thought though. It's like if you had cloned Arnold and cloned Ripley in that universe, if they turned to that, you could actually then go into space, and this is where I thought it would actually be interesting to go. Is they're going to find the predators. What they find, though, are these guys.
Okay.
And so you have this kind of inner space battle going on where who comes around, though, when they think they got this solved is these guys. And it's, again, basically take the war and the idea that it was. The only thing I don't like was that the Predators created the aliens for war.
Nobody likes that.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all. Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
the first movie gets so lore heavy on both the franchises, more so than all the other independent movies on their own. They just play fast and loose with that shit like crazy.
They're Cult of Thorning at the speed of light.
They are. They are Cult of Thorning.
It just wasn't. It just
because they're rebuilding. They're trying to rebuild this whole thing and try to move this forward with these.
Don't get me wrong.
I kind of. I mean, like
when they're in the pyramids and they're shooting.
That's
all those,
cool.
That is cool. You know what though? Don't show us a better movie in your movie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like that's not a great idea.
Oh, you just said my number one rule. I never like that in screenplay where somebody's like, "Do you remember when we were watching Casablanca?" Yeah, I do remember Casablanca, and you made me just forget your crappy movie by mentioning a great movie. You know, like
right. You're gonna show me a flashback of a better movie in your movie that I want to see. And it's I don't know.
Yeah,
but there's some of that lore.
That's what you want to see.
Yeah,
that would have been cool.
I mean, I think you know, again, having them like I think Ian, you were maybe already saying this, but having these two things cross paths in a way that so they had never seen each other before is like an interesting. It's a first meeting. I don't like that one made the other. I just think you have to write it in a smart way. Like you have to make this work the same way you have to make like a Batman versus Superman work or a Freddy versus Jason work. You have to highlight their differences and you have to make it the unstoppable force meets the immovable object. And that's and you have to pick who's who and you have to, you have to take in consideration
these other movies too. Like these Predators. Maybe not the first one. Maybe the first one they crashed on Earth or whatever, then they started hunting these guys. Is that right? The second one though, they were there to hunt people. Like oh no,
they're there to hunt people in the first one too.
Okay, so
Predators are hunters. They're always hunters. Yeah.
Right, but they hunt
trophy
these
hunters.
Aliens. Yeah, they're trophy hunters for these aliens. Like what?
Well, I just think that the Predators
why would human beings be something that they would care to hunt if they're hunting these aliens? Because they're not comparable.
Think of it like the way that human beings hunt. Some people hunt like a deer, or they set traps and hunt things in a inhumane and unjust way. And then some people are fucking rich, crazy motherfuckers that want to go into the wilderness and use a machine gun to kill a lion or a rhino or something for its fucking tufts or its
but these guys are like it's like a code with their culture. Like you know what I mean? Like it's a rite of passage.
In some ways,
it's more noble. They're more tribal. In
some ways, it reminds me of
go ahead, Mickey. I'll remember.
In some ways, it reminds me of Rise of the Lycans, the underworld, kind of concept where
both
the vampires
look very similar.
That's that early 2000s blue look and video game cutscene CGI quality and
Resident Evil basically set the map. So, the blueprint.
Sad to say, but it's true. Yeah, you want to do cheap movies, but have a lot of effects. Like that's how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, honestly though, Chris, you just said something really interesting though. Who's worse than an alien or a predator? And it is us. All right,
we are worse than a predator. I think probably,
but not than an alien.
I don't think we're worse. I don't think we're not than an alien.
We don't shoot acid at our mouths.
An alien is just an ant trying to protect its hive. That's all it's doing.
No, it's not. It's trying to fucking rape your face.
It's trying to mate with you.
What does a bear do?
I'd rather just get skinned and have my bones hanging on a shelf somewhere than get
because I know when you go. When you go into the the savannah of Africa, that lion is just trying to have tea with you and crumpets. It's trying to.
I'm not going there. I don't know what the fuck. I'm no trophy hunter.
But I'm saying what would be
what am I, Tucker Carlson?
But what I'm saying what would be interesting is what if there are humans who go out into space and they're trying to get a predator.
That's not a bad idea.
Like those space trophy hunters.
I thought
that's not terrible.
But they find the predators and they have the predators, and then what happens is they're trying to do all their stuff. They let go of these little bastards.
Yeah.
And it's chaos throughout the whole ship. I think that's not bad. I think that could be interesting.
The part of ABP where I got up and was like, all right, I'm completely out. It's towards the end when she basically teams up with that predator, and you learn to find out that they can work with humans, and then they have that Joel Schumacher's Batman scene where the two of them are running,
where they're running
alongside
into the
each other.
frame. Yeah.
And I just threw up in my mouth
have
and was
nipples?
like, "This." Yes,
I love buddy cop. I love buddy cop movies more than life itself, but even I'm like offended by like a lot of that shit.
So the
you know?
the idea that like predators are reasonable kind of bums me out a little bit, and
she did save like one of the predators.
I get it. It's just like when you want your horror movie monsters to, you know what I mean, like sci-fi crazy creatures, you don't want them to be like something you can reason with. Like, you know, same with like other horror. You know, I don't want Michael Myers to be reasonable, or like, you know, Jason or the aliens or the Predator. You know, like
it was your lore thing you were talking about. I mean, the one thing I like about Predator 2 is they really don't expand on the lore of what these things are.
No,
it's just this Predator came down to LA.
Do a little bit. You see a bunch of them. You see that they are like they have some respect that they give Danny Glover this thing. You see that there's the alien head and the thing. There's a bit of lore expansion.
But not much. I mean, yes, you find out there's an alien skull on their ship,
and you see a little bit more of the med kit. He grows back an arm.
But what is he? But what do they do? We still don't know really what they do. Alien versus Predator tried to over-explain who these are and the history of them.
Yeah,
I agree.
You know,
But
I
would have liked them to have been in space. I mean, they did. You know, like it's like
here's
they
for a little
me.
bit at least.
There's a couple more.
They duped me. I thought they were going to space.
There's a couple more pitches in the chat, and some of them are very, very good, I gotta say. Dustin Nino in the house, by the way, from Retrofiend Radio, makers of the finest canon and martial arts docs on the internet. And Dustin says, I want an AVP set in feudal Japan, and my God, I would absolutely love that. That's
with
totally
samurais?
Yes, exactly. That would be
that's what everybody wants. That's what everybody wants with Prey. They want.
Well, yeah. Now they want to follow up Prey with that whole historical thing.
You know, with
it's not a terrible. It's not a terrible idea, but I also like exploring modern times as well. You know, but like I said, I would watch the shit out of that. He also says he wants an AV. Oh no, that's Gold's Code says he wants an AVP set in the Kumite. And he wants one set in Summer School with Chainsaw and Dave. Oh, that would be just anything with Chainsaw and Dave, and I'm there. There's a lot of love for Steve James in the chat now that there's been some talk of canon martial arts movies. Gold's Code also has a pitch. Predator crashes on Earth. Sorry, Ian. Mitchell's aunt mistakes it for Mitchell and enrolls it in high school. Now Predator must learn to skate and help beat the preps, led by an alien queen. AVP born. Ooh. See, I would have gone with Airborne versus Predator, and that's just title-wise. I think you keep the AVP, but you give a little switcheroo.
Right.
The aliens have to learn how to surf too.
Sorry, hold on. I gotta go clean up some Airborne over there. Oh, I mean dog crap. Sorry.
So, I did have, you know, vaguely some other ideas other than the obviously how glorious it would be to combine Arnold and Sigourney. I also thought, and I was telling Steve this the other day, and I know this is weird, but I feel like the longer I hold this position, the less weird it becomes. And I almost want one of these without human characters, like as little human characters as possible. And I feel like you could do it, and you don't need to have subtitles or like anything like that, like to, you know, translate what Predators, but you just visually show how they communicate, you know, that like it's really more they read body language, and it's just the way it's shot and directed that like you can tell us a visual story. And I think of it like you can have great music without vocals, you know.
It would have to be the most incredible screenplay.
Oh yeah, you need an incredible director, an incredible screenplay. You know?
But I also see that as being a short film. Not film.
Without it,
like, okay, here's the deal, right? Like, there's a thing in Requiem that they almost set up and they don't deliver on. And I think that there's a scene where it's like you feel like this predator is going to defend this whole ward of babies from this like xenomorph, and it's like that requires like almost no dialogue. You're going to get what's happening right out of the gate. That's a
scene, though. That's not a
that's one scene, not a whole. No, but like you interconnect scenes like that build a larger story with an arc.
I don't know. I just feel like without
if you know silent movies like A Quiet Place, like there's all kinds of reasons to think that this isn't the crazy. The artist didn't the artist win Best Fucking Picture a couple years ago? I'm just saying.
I don't know. But without a human element tethered to it, it's going to be very hard to relate to anyone or any of the characters in it, and it's going to just seem like
because they don't.
Yeah, but
talk.
I mean, do we?
Yeah.
They don't talk. That's
but the people in Prey don't talk. Prey was practically a silent.
Sure,
film.
They talk. They talk a lot. They talk to each other.
There's very little dialogue in Prey.
But there was dialogue.
But
there's some dialogue, but yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. As little as possible. I'm not saying I get that you can't go completely without it, even though like I would almost want it. But you do that as little as possible.
I mean,
that's always the thing that dates these movies. That like fucking Freddy versus Jason. That's like the most egregious part about that movie is all the teen stuff.
No, I like that stuff too.
But without them,
unless you do the like
the only thing that made Freddy versus
Jason I don't say no teens.
I saw it with that was
no. I'm just saying that like the teens in the 80s movies were better than the teens in the early 2000s movies.
Also, without any humans, you don't get any aliens.
Yeah,
fair point. Yeah.
But like I can.
But
feel
how
like,
the fuck
I feel like the Predators at this point, and you could make them have the ability now to talk.
I would hate that.
I
would hate that too, though. I think
like a robotic kind of talk or whatever.
Only if they had
either unless it's all Billy. It's all Billy voices from the computer. Like
no, if it was all those clicks, with subtitles, that'd be something.
I would only accept it if it takes the mask off and then all of a sudden it talks like Gilbert Godfrey and he's no longer with us to spread his genius on this.
This planet.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
There are people with chainsaws out there. You're cuffing me. This is ridiculous. $200. I'm robbing you.
All that or Richard Kind. I would accept Richard Kind.
He's great too. Yeah.
Jackie
I don't
Mason.
know.
Yeah,
Jackie Mason.
I can't do this.
Here's something that I've struggled with for years about the Predator franchise, which is probably the one that as a kid was closer to my heart than Aliens were.
Same here.
And again, I'm curious if you guys at home were you more of a Predator fan or more of an Alien fan? Let us know.
What were you guys? Where do
I was more of a Predator fan at first, but Aliens grew on me. Now I'm more of an Aliens fan.
I'm Aliens. I stand. I loved Predators, but I stand by Aliens.
I think Predators probably is more of a solid franchise to date.
Yep.
Like if you take all the movies.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there aren't as many.
When I was younger, I was more of an Aliens guy. Yeah.
So I was, we have often done the time travel sequel here, and I love that there are certain things we always come back around to. Ian always pitches Robert Downey Jr. Someone will pitch a Netflix series. There's just certain things we do a lot. A Nick Cage version of something, which in this franchise, I'd be okay with that happening. Just saying. But so one thing I've always struggled with in Predator 2 since the time I was a little kid, I love Danny Glover, but he's just not the lead in an action film. And he's great. He does great work in Predator 2, and I really do enjoy it. But if it was Wesley Snipes instead, that would have been an incredible fucking movie. And they originally wanted Steven Seagal, who I also thought could have been a very interesting choice because you're taking it from the jungle to the city. And yeah, I know, but at the time we didn't know what we now know about Seagal, and that would have been a fucking holy shit. Steven Seagal's in Predator 2. Like everyone would go see that. That would have doubled the box office.
That would have been awful.
Oh, shut up! You would have gone. You saw Executive Decision. You rented that from the gas station pizzeria, and you know it.
Come on.
I didn't. My dad did.
Right, I think Wesley Snipes would have been great. Yeah, I think he would have been.
So that's just something that I think.
Whatever. I was there for Out to Kill, and I was there for Kill to Out. Don't give me that. I was there for. I was there for the whole 360.
If you did that movie now, like Samuel Jackson would be the greatest choice.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's the worst. That's not the worst idea I've ever heard either. Yeah, that's
what if you remade Predator 2 with Sam Jackson?
If you remade Predator 2 now with Sam Jackson,
I'd be okay with that. That wouldn't be the worst
sequel. We're not rebooting the franchise.
You can't do Gary Busey, but I'll take Nick Cage in that role.
Yeah. Come on, no.
So, although I will say this, Predator 2, that shot where the Predator sends that little spear, that spinny spear, and it cuts Gary Busey's head off. I rewound that so many times. That was like my favorite scene.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. They. I was going to say
Hopkins.
Oh. No.
The director of 2 was it Stephen Hopkins? Is that right?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. Is that
the guy? The guy that did
Nightmare 5 in the Mummy?
Yeah, I believe
I think so.
But I'm gonna just verify. Sorry.
But Sam Jackson,
Feel free to talk amongst
Jackson
yourselves while I
versus
do
the Predator
this. Yeah.
would be kind of cool though.
What would be
That
cool?
would be-
What versus the Predator?
Sam Jackson versus the
Just
Predator.
Oh God, yeah.
I would.
It is Stephen Hopkins, yeah.
I would also. As weird as this sounds, I would go for a Terry Crews versus a Predator.
I mean, if you were gonna do another Predator movie like the first one, where you're bringing in a whole barrage of crazy tough guys, like like if you were gonna redo something like that, Terry Crews would be a great addition.
Yeah.
To like
But
to
the
like
problem
one of those...
is we don't have the
You can't do that now.
Yeah, we don't have the depth chart on our fucking roster anymore like they did in the 80s. Like in the 80s you could have like your 15th guy would be like Sven Olin Thorson or Bolo Yang. There's just so much to choose from.
If you did a
I love we're one of the only YouTubes honoring Sven Thorson around.
Sven Thorson is the man.
Yes,
if you did a sequel to the Robert Rodriguez Predator, well, you can have Brody lead a team, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And you can have these people.
Just bring back Danny Trejo.
Yeah. Danny Trejo could be a part. Yeah.
I just want Danny Trejo and everything.
Yeah. He'd be a great addition to that team.
You could bring back. You can bring set.
And you know who rounds out the team that they're bringing in the future? Now that it's whatever, there's
You could bring Wesley Snipes in.
We're bringing in Wesley Snipes, and you could bring in Ripley Clone. You could bring.
I'd be fine. Here's the one thing I will say this though: if there was an Alien versus Predator, I would want it literally one alien versus one Predator.
That's what the first movie should have been, and the second movie should have been a bigger battle.
Yes. If whatever they do, if they end up on a ship or on Earth or whatever, I want one alien, one Predator. That's to me that would make it more. Because then you can mix Alien, like the first Alien, where the thing's hiding in places and stuff like that, and then you get the Predator, who's just on a mission, but it's somehow or another that they got to cross intersect. Again, I don't want the Batman shot. No, I agree.
No, I don't want to harp on the movies and not the pitches. I know we're in pitch time, but like the thing that was so off about that movie is that you got 3 Predators, 1 alien. Just fucking decimates 2 of those Predators like with ease. No problem.
That was
Then all of a sudden there's 20 aliens and 1 Predator left, and him and that lady just take them out, no problem. It's not balanced. Like I don't really get like who.
There's a lot of like that's a stretch, in this movie. They're like reading all the signs and they're like, oh yeah, that's a stretch. Like it just never really he cuts up in the alien xenomorph head and then she can just have it, but there's no acid fucking her up. Like that's a stretch. There's a lot of just like okay,
to me these movies like show the superiority of the Predators.
Yeah. I guess so.
To me, they came out on top on both movies.
Well, they didn't though, because he winds up blowing up. He winds up dying anyway, and he blows up. He winds up having to detonate the thing because when they get in over their head, they have to detonate it, and they blow up the whole place. The Queen kills him anyway, and then in the second one, we bomb the entire town and just kill everyone. Humans.
Which is maybe the only interesting thing that happens in the whole movie.
We never get any kind of resolution as to who would actually win in a fight because they both kill each other so easily.
Well, because first of all, the fact that you're never gonna get that in one of these movies. You do Freddy versus Jason, versus Jason, Alien versus Predator, Batman v Superman. They're never gonna let someone truly win because they know you're always gonna have to have that head winking in the.
You got to do business. You got to do business.
No, I agree with that.
We don't kill James Bond or Rambo or Rocky.
Now,
or Superman,
I might have been dealing with the dog, but did anybody pitch? Just literally was just aliens and just Predators, like there was no humans or anything like that.
Chris pitched that. Yeah,
you did. I was just thinking like how interesting that could be if you literally like what if you took the plot of Aliens and instead of the Marines it was Predators. Would that work?
I don't
totally would work. I would totally fucking work. I swear to you, it would work.
You would get a National Geographic movie,
right? Like what that be?
First of all, it's a small.
You couldn't have it the
way
make it
a smaller cast. Smaller cast. It's 2 or 3 Predators that go in, and that's it. And you make them visually distinct, and one of them's got to die early.
Answer
and then
me.
you have,
Are you doing? Is this the Star Wars holiday special? Are they talking to each other in cliques, and we're just listening?
See, I do think that they would be. No,
there's no dialogue.
I would not have.
There's no dialogue.
I would not have subtitles. I would have clicks, and you just visually show the movie. But here's the thing: I would not make it.
But again, I said that's a short film.
That's what I'm saying. It would be a 3-hour
movie.
Yeah. But nowadays, I mean, like Charles Band, I was just listening to his podcast. They were talking about like studios are pitching 50-minute movies. Like they're really starting to consider, are we going to
Well, they want to pay. They certainly want to fucking pay nothing for content.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So could there be a 50-minute Alien versus Predator?
I mean, that doesn't seem like the direction any other movies are going in at all.
There's one in the chat that I think would be a great 50-minute Predator movie. But I would probably watch it as a full 3-hour movie too. Gold's Code says pitch, build on the dance scene from Predator 2 behind the scenes and have the Predators team up with Turbo and Ozone for Breaking Predator Electric Boogaloo. Oof, I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, I would watch the shit out of that. But
I would see a Predator
Ozone's
tap dance
Ozone's dead.
Do Electric Boogaloo up the ceiling.
Ozone is no longer with us, sadly.
R.I.P.
Yeah. And get Lucinda Dickey on the horn, goddammit.
Oh, you gotta get Lucinda Dickey. You have to get Lucinda Dickey.
It's a better movie. What made more money? What was it? Well, I know it was E.T. or Crush Groove. It's like Predator or Crush Groove.
In the chat, Monica Thyman is pitching AVP Meets the Family, and I'm just kind of picturing like a Meet the Parents type of thing. Like a Ben Stiller type of thing. That would be ridiculous.
That sounds like an opening of. You remember John Lovett's The Critic? That sounds like one of the movies he reviewed. They do like a little funny.
What?
Yeah,
Chris,
it totally does.
Chris, what if you did AVP versus Ash?
Oh god, well, there's a lot of those.
I think they did. They did have a comic.
Honestly, he could be the only person that talks.
I swear to you, Dark Horse.
Then I'm in. Then
that's Dark Horse did an AP Predator versus Ash. I know they. Yeah. I swear they.
There are so many. Honestly, if you want to just like throw in the kitchen sink, it all works. Like Alien versus Predator versus RoboCop, like that works. Alien versus Predator versus Terminator, that works.
Alien versus Predator versus Ernest. That works.
100%. I would absolutely love
Jim
it.
Jim Varney's not with us anymore either. But yeah,
the alien like spits out. The alien does that little thing, and it's just
yeah. The alien like he's like, all right, we gotta go in there. We gotta stop the aliens. He's like, wait, Rimshot and I've got a plan. And then he comes in there dressed as like the teacher, like, well, boys, in my day.
All the old, he comes in as the old lady.
He just tricks the Predator into, with his old lady makeup.
AVPVE. Even the title, AVPVE. It's great.
Please make that poster, Chris.
I absolutely will. That's fantastic. Bloody-tastic. There were some more pitches in the chat. But
no, we're done. Alien versus Predator.
We're done. That's
Ernest.
it.
That's it. That
is probably the best I think that we've done so far. It's just too good. Delicious. It only took us we finished 3 minutes early, folks.
That is better than your 3-hour silent movie with no people.
How dare you? It would work. I'm telling you.
No, listen, I love you too, but you guys are nuts. I don't know, Mickey. What do you think of that?
I would not watch that. I would not watch that. I mean,
that's terrible.
I'd watch that for 30 minutes, and then that's it. Like 30 minutes.
You're lying sacks of shit. I'm telling you guys, you could watch it.
All of you sat through Dances with Wolves Part 3 underwater. I don't want to hear it. It's 4 hours of water.
They talk in that movie.
Underwater.
I didn't watch that shit.
That's the talking.
Yeah. I didn't watch that shit.
I saw it. I saw it when it came out for free.
I did too in 1991 with Kevin Costner. It was great.
I saw it even before that with Fern Gully. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Fern Gully with water wolves. Exactly.
Pretty much.
Oh man, well, yeah, we're keeping it on
versus
track.
Ernest.
We're doing great.
And I've said this a million times, because we're thrown in the kitchen sink here. AVPVG with Gremlins in there, because Gremlins are my favorite wrench in the spokes. Like the Predator and the Alien are so serious.
Yeah.
The Alien and the Predator are so serious that the Gremlins are such like everything's a goddamn joke to them, and I just want that energy. Fucking and thwarting with these stoically serious.
I would love Alien vs Predator versus Ghoulies.
Oh, you would.
Please?
Yeah.
No.
I just want to see a predator getting on a toilet, taking a shit like in Friday 5.
Yeah.
Singing to his girl outside the toilet, like, ooh,
People,
baby, ooh, baby.
If it's Alien versus Predator, it's versus Critters. Let's not joke around here.
No, I almost feel it. I almost feel like that could have been a franchise.
In this, please.
That could have been a
what?
franchise too. You could have had Critters versus Ghoulies versus Gremlins. Like
versus
how
Munchies.
Cool. And then you could throw the
Not
Munchies in
you
there as a
bastard.
cameo.
You bastard, Steve.
They suck.
How dare you? How dare you mention Munchies? How dare you?
Terrible.
Munchies
just
are
saying.
horrible.
Lethal Weapon guys versus a Predator would be pretty hilarious. Just to occasionally hear the saxophone and then fucking I'm too old for this shit.
Alien versus Predator versus Mac.
That's basically what you were just missing. A Mel Gibson,
right?
In Predator 2, you should have had a cameo from Mel Gibson. That would have made that pretty good.
That would have been
no.
Good,
you could just use your Mel Gibson action figure from Lethal Weapon toys. But
that was the Waterworld guy. He had
that was the
hair.
Although Costner, you know what? To the effect that Ernest would be fun to see in one of these serious movies, I think also Alf would be great to see.
Predator versus Alien versus Predator versus Alf.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, there are 3 aliens, so that
or the Muppets.
Sense.
The Muppets would be.
They did go to space, so that works.
Well, they go to space.
I will leave you with one more.
The Predator spits acid. Here's Gonzo.
I want the bad early 2000s, way too late sequel. And I want some Hawaiian style in my life, so why not AVP3 Havana Nights? I'm just saying. I'll leave you guys with that one. You're a sick man.
There you go.
All right. Well, we are just about out of time, folks. So before we wrap it up, Ian, Steve, Mickey, anything you guys have got coming up in the works you want to let the people at home know about?
No.
Right now.
Not so much. All right.
Yes, please.
Yes, Ian's got some.
Please go to your local comic store, Barnes and Noble.
There you go.
Get Vampires Carmilla featuring my short story Grave Mistake. So you can pick that up at any Barnes and Noble. Just came out this week.
Awesome, man.
Congratulations, my man. Yeah, that's super cool.
Google Barnes and Nobles, kids.
Yes. That's
Google that.
All righty,
it's
guys.
Called a book.
Well, you fans might want to come back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. when we sequelize an as yet unplanned episode. But if you want that to be True Beverly Hills like I do, let us know in the comment section below.
Nobody wants a sequel of Shelley Long.
Oh, we all need Shelley. Oh, fucking Shelley Long is the best. Get the hell right out of here. You're un-American,
True
sir.
Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Hey, I'm game. I am so game. Get Brigitte Nielsen in there. But as always, if you enjoyed this video, the best way to help is to smash that like button and leave a comment telling us what movie or TV franchise that you want us to cover on a future episode of VCR Redux. And since you're already doing that, you might as well go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow Fandom Spotlight, the Howell Night Network, and Pop Culture Punk. Till then, back up those Betamax, rewind those Laserdiscs, and we'll see you at the movies.
Anytime.